Okay, this is an example of verb conjugation hell. Spanish 1, they needed to memorize these verbs, the conjugations in the present tense and the preterite tense, the past tense. So for number 1, hablar, it would be yo hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, hablan. In the preterite tense, yo hablé, accent over the E, hablaste, habló, accent over the O, and then hablamos and hablaron. They need to know first, second, and third person, singular and plural. They know all those things. They had a test on these, and if the person passed the test, they could miss one on each side. So they were tested on 16 present tense conjugations and 16 preterite tense conjugations on the same 16 verbs. Here is a picture of the test that they actually took in class. They took a regular sheet of paper, folded up into 16 squares. On one side, there are present tense conjugations, and on the reverse side, there are preterite tense conjugations. So about half my students passed, the ones that studied really hard. Okay? So if they passed, they got, well, each square is worth 3 points on each side. So there are 16 squares on each side. That means 32 squares, and each square is worth 3 points. So it's a total of 96 points. If they missed a square, it's -3. Now, in order to pass the verb conjugation hell test, you could only miss one on each side. Okay, you've got to be proficient in these verbs. So if they miss more than one, they failed the verb conjugation hell test. So they could have passed with a 92 out of 96 because they could miss one on each side. Remember, each square is worth 3 points. Now, the beauty of verb conjugation hell is that if you don't pass the test, then there's other work you can do to get through and get a perfect score. So you can still get a 96 out of 96. The only way you would not get an A on this test is if you flat out refuse to do the assignment. The only thing is, the second way to get an A on verb conjugation hell involves a little more work. Okay? So, go ahead and take a whole thing of the table here. All these papers right here will make up a packet, a verb conjugation hell packet. Okay, so first we'll go to the first square. And all we did for these is we just folded up a regular size sheet of paper into 16 squares and cut out squares. So the first square has hablar conjugated in the present tense. On the back side, it's got hablar conjugated in the preterite tense. Okay? Now, the second one, the second piece of paper, actually has 2 squares in it. The first one, we conjugated hablar again because that was number 1 on the board. And the second verb, comer, okay, that was also conjugated. So on this side, it's preterite tense, flip it over, and then present tense. So we've got the present tense on one side and the preterite of the other side. We did hablar twice now. Now we go to the third example. The third piece of paper has 3 squares. We did hablar again, so it's the third time we did hablar. Then we did comer, which is the second verb. And then down below, on the third square, we did the third verb on the list. Okay, so we conjugated that in the present tense on one side and the preterite tense on the other side. Okay, so you go through 1, 2, 3, all the way up to the 16 verbs, which are on School Loop. So you look at number 4. 4 has 4 squares. Okay, 5 has 5 squares. 6, of course, 6 squares. 7, 8. We zoom over here to 9. 9 has 9 squares, and so on. And remember, you've got to repeat hablar. You have conjugated hablar 16 times by the time you're done. Okay, you've got to repeat all of these. So a finished product of this, and it's just another color, a different color, would be right here. So in the upper left-hand corner, we've got hablar conjugated in the preterite tense. Flip that over. And then on the other side, we have it, the present tense. Okay? And then the second piece of paper has 2 squares on it. The first one is hablar, and the second one is comer. Flip that over. Okay, the third one has 3 squares in it with 3 verbs conjugated. Okay, and then the fourth square has 4 squares in it, 4 verbs conjugated. This square, and we flip all the way down, back down, keep going. We go through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So by the time you're done, the first verb you'll have conjugated 16 times. The second verb you'll have conjugated 15 times. The third verb you have conjugated 14 times, and so on. Here is the finished product of what you must have. Now, by the time you get done at the end, you're going to know your verbs. Again, you must know verbs in the present and the preterite tense in order to get to Spanish 2. So that's an explanation of verb conjugation hell. That is due on Monday. Good luck.